Coming up on episode 182 of Creative Writing, I'm sharing how to foster community in your Facebook groups.
I can't go back to sleep, it's almost light. These restless thoughts have kept me up again tonight.
Hello and welcome to Creative Writing. I'm your host, Kirsten Oliphant, and this is the podcast for you, a writer who wants to sell more books without being smarmy. And in this week's episode, we are talking, as I just mentioned, about how to foster community in Facebook groups. Now, I've talked about Facebook groups before in the podcast and on the blog, and you can find, I'll have links in the show notes, which you can find at creativewriting.com/182, but I also talk about it in episode 125 and also 71, maybe a few other places, but those are the main ones that have content related to Facebook groups. And now that we're all kind of at home and virtually talking to people, this is more important than ever. And so fostering community is kind of its own animal. I do touch on this in those other episodes, but I wanted to do this now. And I will have to say that it was inspired by feeling really put out in some Facebook groups this week. And I was like, I haven't been super passionate about things to talk about on the podcast. Sometimes I have all kinds of topics, and sometimes, like right now, I'm just, it's rough. This has been a rough week, rough couple weeks. But sometimes you get inspired by things that take you off. And so we're going to talk about how you can foster community and some ways to kill community. I'll try not to be too specific or throw anyone under the bus. But anyway, so if you want to find the show notes for this, you can go to creativewriting.com/182. And if you want to join the Creative Writing Facebook community, which I feel like is one of the best places on the internet, you can go to creativewriting.com/community, and that will take you right to the Facebook group. So we're all hanging out in Facebook groups and on Zoom because we're all kind of trapped at home. But the thing is, having a Facebook group, when people talk about this, a lot of times they're just talking about the numbers or selling things or some of these, that's important, right? I guess, but you're not going to do any of those things. You're not going to grow, or you're going to struggle to grow, or you're going to struggle with the numbers you have when you grow. And you're going to struggle to sell things if you don't have community in there. So let's dive into what that actually looks like to create community, not just a group, but community. So the first step in creating a community is setting the tone. And this is something that I think many people do kind of on their own, like subconsciously, they already know instinctively. It's something I do instinctively, but you want to kind of be the person, because you're the one who's starting the group, right? You want to be the person that decides, is your group a place that is sweet and kind and filled with vulnerable people and people able to post vulnerable things? Is your group snarky? Is it sarcastic? Is it funny? Is it a little bit biting sometimes? Is your group somewhere in between? Is it somewhere in the neighborhood of just informational content that doesn't allow for drama? There are all kinds of different tones that you could set, and that's your decision. And it should align with the things that you are selling or who you are as a person. So I feel like in my group, the creative writing group, we're really positive. There's humorous things in there as well. I'd say encouraging and uplifting, informational kind of posts in there, but definitely there's a side of humor as well. There's lots of gifs and memes and things like that. But you have to decide that and then post things that go in line with that. And this is really important. I think sometimes the same way with growing our email list or finding a readership or an audience in general, we sometimes think we need to hit everybody. And then we miss the ones that are really are people, because we're trying to hit everywhere, trying to be too vanilla. So no, don't be vanilla. Pick a flavor, okay? Pick one of the 31 flavors or put two side by side and then add sprinkles. That's fine. But you need to pick the tone and decide ahead of time. And then, and if you're already in a Facebook group, you've already created a Facebook group, it's okay to realize now I need to set tone, whatever, wherever you are in your Facebook group journey, set the tone. And then the second one's really simple. I talk about this a lot in the other posts in episode 71 and 125. You need to show up. And when you are starting a group, I have started many groups, and I will tell you, it is kind of humiliating when you show up and no one comments and you post and it's like crickets. It is embarrassing. It's humiliating. You feel like you are standing in front of a room, like just blushing and everyone's staring at you. But that's not really what's happening. When you start a group, especially, or if you have a group that isn't used to engaging and you're trying to up that engagement and foster community, you have to show up. You have to be the brave one. And that's your job. It's your group. And so you have to do that. You have to show up. You have to post things, even if no one is commenting and you feel a little dumb. Just keep showing up. That consistency really matters, even if you're showing up consistently and not everyone is answering. Okay. And the next thing is going to help you with that. But first, you've just got to show up. But when you're posting, this is the third thing, you want to post engaging content. And this is massively important if you're just starting a group or you don't have a lot of engagement in the group. Now, when I talk about engaging content, you want to post things that people are going to respond to. And you're probably like, well, of course, obviously the things I'm posting, people should be responding to, right? Maybe, maybe not. When you're starting a group and when you don't have a ton of community in your group, you have to post things that are low risk to people. Okay. They're not going to want to go bleed their hearts out all over your Facebook group, even though, like, honestly, in a lot of places online, we do share things that we wouldn't share otherwise in our lives. But when you're starting this community and trying to set that tone and foster sort of the kind of mindset and mood that you want to have, you've got to start with some things that are really easy answers. And I've got an example I've got in the post. Sorry, y'all, I'm just scatterbrained. In the post, there's an image that I created on Canva, super simple. Where do you love to read? And there's 4 choices, and I put an image with each A, B, C, D. I posted that in multiple groups and kind of changed out the colors and things depending on the group. Easy engagement. If people want to say more about it, they can. But if they want to just pick a letter, they can. Or if they want to say none of the above, they can. People respond to that because it's low risk. It doesn't make them have to be super vulnerable. So you have to be vulnerable, but you have to kind of lead them into sharing more things. And if you're a really small group, it might be easier to share more things. But when you're starting out and you're trying to build people talking, not just to you, but to each other, you've got to post more things that get engagement. And so one good way to do that is to follow some really big Facebook pages that have a lot of engagement, that get tons of shares. And so in one of the reader groups that I started, one of the things I did is I kind of bookmarked a couple of pages that just do a lot of book memes or reading memes, because people who read love to talk about whether or not they like an e-reader or a book, or what kind of books they like, or how they arrange their bookshelves. Those kinds of things really spark discussion and are an easy thing for people to talk about. They're happy to talk about their opinions about those things. And so anytime you're on Facebook and you see people sharing something that is related to your topic and a lot of engagement's happening, make notes, save that post. And if it's a Facebook page, you can actually, follow it. You can save that post. If you look on Facebook, on any post, there are like 3 little dots to the right at the post, and you can save it. I do that a lot with posts that I want to share later or I want to come back to. So if I find a post that a lot of people are talking about in a group, I will save it and then be like, oh man, that's a great question that I can ask, or here's a meme. Now, I will encourage you, if you're going to post engaging content and that engaging content is images, try to track down the source. So the other day I saw someone sharing this really funny Elmo thing, and I did share it in the creative writing community. And it turned out the person who shared it just shared the image. And I was like, where did this come from? Because one, I don't like not giving credit where credit's due, but that is so easy to happen. Like, people just download something and then they share the image with nothing else on it, so you don't know. Anyway, I took some time and tracked it down because I'm a nerd like that. And I ended up finding out that the post is from a guy named, or a page called Obvious Plant. And the guy goes around basically making fake things. So the Elmo doll, he went and hung it up at a store, but he made it at home. Sesame Street spelled wrong. It's called Elbow, not Elmo. It says "We Are Good Friend" on it. It's really, really funny, but I felt better sharing it, knowing where it came from. So I actually shared from his page. I didn't just download the image and share it. So if you can, and you see things being shared, try to track down the original source, or see if the original source, sometimes they'll have like the, a little watermark on there or something like that. So I will encourage you to do that, or create your own. Again, like with the reading post I did, I just created my own in Canva, and it took me just a few minutes. It was no big deal. And then I know I'm not sharing someone else's. So if you see somebody else posting something you like, there's no big deal if you create your own, like as long as it's not copyright or something else you're infringing on. If you're just asking a question with an image, you can create your own totally, or share it directly from the source. But overall, again, that was my little soapbox about images, not stealing things, but you want to post engaging content to get people talking. The two benefits of this, not only does this start to train your members to talk and get them comfortable talking, but the Facebook algorithm will show your group posts more when people are actually commenting and engaging. And so the more people like and comment on posts in your group is going to show up in their feed, and that's huge. So the next thing is set expectations. And this starts, so we're going to kind of continue in with creating boundaries and rules, but when you have people joining your group, and before they join your group, there's a couple ways you can do this. Your image header for the group can have information in it. There's also a little about section that people can look at before they join the group. And you can ask questions before people join. And so in my question asking thing, I kind of let people know like, hey, this is a group related to this podcast, Creative Writing Podcast. Because I had people coming in that were like, oh, you have a podcast? And I'm like, yes, it is only the name of this group. But like, you don't always know where things come from. Facebook might suggest a group in the sidebar of Facebook to you, and then you join it, but you may not know kind of like the origin story. So you want to make sure there's like some degree of origin story in those places. You can also ask people, I like to ask people for their email, and I say it's not required, but if you want to join and get my weekly email, I try to keep it short, but also give them, again, some information expectations. And then I have a little one email kind of welcome to those people that's specific to them. So if I add them to my list because they ask to be added, they're not just getting the generic welcome to my list. They get an email that's like, hey, you signed up in Facebook. Thanks. I'm not being a stalker. You signed up and here I am, and I'm going to pop into your inbox. So I set those expectations as well, but those questions are a great place to start. Then you're going to continue setting the expectations with the next one, which is create boundaries. You want to create boundaries and rules for people. Now, Facebook has actually created, like in their settings, you can update the rules. And I'm trying to see, let me go look where this is right now. You can go into your group settings and there are options for this. You can put about me, but I think I'm trying to think where the actual rules are. Okay, if you go to the settings in your group, that's where you can ask the questions. And I usually will change the membership approval to only admins because otherwise people will get emails about it. Well, let's see. Maybe it's in the about. Anyway, I this is always hard because they don't always have the things in the places that you think they should be about this group. Anyway, okay, you're going to have to go find that yourself. So, because right now I can't find, oh, yep. Okay. If you go to the about, you can find where the rules are. And you want to create some rules because that's important. Even my kids, like they would all tell you they hate rules and they've been breaking all the rules since we've been home, but they have them, and children do need boundaries. It gives them sort of a safe space within which to interact. And that's a really important thing in your Facebook group as well. The key is finding the balance between having too many and not enough. So you want to create those boundaries, and I would recommend putting them, I like to put them in the cover image. I also pin them in the announcements, and then also wherever you can edit them. I should have looked this up ahead of time, but in your group settings, you're able to update the rules, like official rules that Facebook allows you to do. I would absolutely do this as well. But it's really important to do this, but you got to find that line between being too stifling and things that are actually going to be helpful. So if you want to promote discussion in your group, it's really good to have a rule about no self-promotion. And that's a really hard thing to enforce and to explain and to kind of corral, because here's the thing. In creative writing, we have so many creative people, and I love all of the things that they're doing. But if I didn't have a rule against self-promotion, people, would think, well, everybody's interested in this. And they might be, but if everybody thinks that, we have almost 3,000 members in there and everybody's posting something every day, all of that the group is going to turn into is people dropping links. Okay, and you've all been in groups like that where people just drop links and there's just nothing really helpful about that. All discussion ceases and it just becomes a self-promotion, as I call them, link graveyards. And you do not want that in your group. And I know I've been in groups before. I'm like, oh, I wish I know this would be really helpful for them. But there's a reason that most groups ask you not to do that. Now, I think sometimes people can go too far with this, but you need to find your line. And this is the next one. And we're almost done with this actually. You don't want to create so many rules that it's stifling. And so this is kind of what prompted me wanting to talk about this today, because I've had a couple experiences in groups where the rules are so stifling. I'm like, why am I even here if you can't do things? And just as an example, there's one reader group that I'm in. And when I say reader group, what I mean is it's readers who love books and all the posts are related to a specific type of book. Okay, so they're a type of reader. We love this kind of book. This is the group. And these are great groups to be in as authors. But usually, again, there's no promotions. You have to kind of watch for if there's opportunities for that. But also, it's a great gold mine to learn what readers want. Also, I read a lot. So I'm in a reader group in particular where like a month ago, someone asked for a recommendation and I posted a link, not an affiliate link, because no matter what group you're in, just FYI, you don't want to post affiliate links, especially not Amazon, because it's really against the terms of service. They want those affiliate links in public facing things like a blog or a page, not in a private group. And also, if you're in someone else's group, you shouldn't be making money there. That's not your group. If anyone gets to use affiliate links, they do, but probably nobody should, since it's not really what Amazon wants. But anyway, I posted a clean link, not an affiliate link, to a book answering their question. And someone immediately from the group, not even an admin, direct message me. It's like, you have to delete your link. And I was like, oh, okay, but someone asked what book. And they're like, you can't do any kind of links. And I went and read the rules, and the rules, so again, too many boundaries. The rules took me like 10 minutes to read. So I was like, I don't even see where this is. And they copied and pasted. Sure enough, I'd missed it because the rules were so long. I missed that you're not allowed to post any link of any kind, not even in the comments. And so I will tell you, as a user, as a reader, it's super annoying when people tell you titles. I would rather have a link and click it and then go buy. Again, not affiliate links, because I am in a group where I hate that they don't police this, because there's one chick, and I even asked them about that. I noticed, because I'm anal about affiliate links, y'all. There's one chick in there who posts every single day, and she'll say things like, have y'all read this book? And the link is an affiliate link. And so she acts like a reader who's engaged. And it's like a 10,000 person Facebook group, and people are commenting every single day. This chick who does not own the group is posting her affiliate links. And I actually emailed, and she's not disclosing them either. I just am a nerd. No, I emailed the admins and I was like, you don't care? And they're like, no, that's fine. And I was like, to each his own, but no. Okay, we're not doing that. But just regular links, like if you're a reader, it's so much easier to just have a link to click. Like, here is the book. Here is where you buy the book. Easy peasy. I would rather have that as a reader. So that was really irritating to me that you can't even post any kind of link in the comments. Now, as groups get bigger, I do understand that it becomes a lot more to manage. And you may have people dropping these affiliate links in there. Every so often, not often, but every so often, I'll get one in the creative writing group where I find an affiliate link, or someone is posting promotion and I miss it or something like that, because, Facebook loves to not give me notifications. But overall, like, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, we have almost 3,000 people in the group, and I think so much of it, the tone is set. People know the expectations. They encounter the rules before they join. And you guys are amazing. Those of you in the group are amazing. You're fantastic. You're great community members. And so I think that's one of the reasons we don't have a ton of that, is because I've really worked hard to set the tone. Those of you guys in that group have really embraced that, and you also carry that on. And this is kind of where we're ending, is we're circling back to this idea of remembering that you set the tone. Okay, so just to kind of go back, I started with the fact that you set the tone. You need to show up, post engaging content, set expectations, create boundaries. Don't create so many that it's stifling. And then again, remember that you're that one who sets the tone, because what happens is your group, as it starts to become healthy and starts to become a community, your group will mirror what you do. And that's fantastic. You'll start to really develop it's like your ideal reader, right? You're getting those people who are attracted to you and the kind of content that you create and you produce. They're attracted to the way you present it, to your tone, to the things you find funny. And then they start to mirror that back to you. So I will have people sometimes in the group share things that they know I'll think are funny. And our group finds them funny because we have developed overall like a very symbiotic community. And I love that. So those of you guys who are in the group, just shout out to you guys. You are amazing. And I love that. Yes, it's been hard work on my side, but without having fantastic group members, there wouldn't be a group. Okay. It would just be me in an echo chamber, and you don't want that. So a lot of times people do talk about growth and worry about growth or all these other things. But if you don't have community, your numbers don't really matter. And you're probably all in groups where there's not a lot of community or where it feels really harsh. Like I have a few groups I might recommend someone join, but I'll say things like, don't ask a question because you'll get your head bitten off, or make sure you don't do this. Like only join this group for this reason, because if you do this thing, you're going to get like really embarrassed, or they might delete your links. So some communities, and there's things I take away from those communities, but it's not my jam, right? It's not my home. They don't have the fostering of the community that I like. It's not my ideal. So you may have some of those people in your group too, and they may just stay quiet, and that's okay, because they might be getting something else. It's okay to scare people away, because if you have a tone and you're not being just vanilla, although shout out to vanilla likers out there, people who love vanilla, you really want to have your own flavor, an actual flavor, and that's okay if it scares people. You want those ideal people who love your flavor. So as you're out there creating online communities, because we can't be more than 6 feet from one another, or whatever the restrictions are where you live, I hope that these are some helpful tips in how to foster community, not just build numbers. Again, if you want to find the show notes, you can go to creativewriting.com/182. If you want to join the email to get weekly tips, resources, and more, you can go to creativewriting.com/quickfix. And if you want to join the illustrious community, go to creativewriting.com/community. A huge shout out to Jasmine Commerce of JasmineCommerceMusic.com for the tunes for this show. And now is the time for you to go out, create content that you love, and serve your people well.